Beautiful. Thanks. All right. Welcome back into the Newport This Week video podcast series. I'm Bill Bartholomew. Remember, you can find each episode of this series at newportthisweek.com. And of course, also on the Newport This Week YouTube channel. Today, we're talking Middletown, specifically a school building committee getting to work after a $190 million bond was passed. We're joined by the co-chairs of that committee, Ed Brady and Charlie Roberts. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, real pleasure. So I guess quickly take us through the travel of this bond and, the notion that it'll be delivered on time and on budget. Give us a sense of where the initial thought process, even the projection of what would be required, came from.
Well, Bill, we're very fortunate here. We have a great team of consultants. We're working with Colliers on our project management end, and I'll have Ed talk about our architectural team too. But we're led by a really experienced group out of Colliers that has really helped us navigate this whole process. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot to be done. But we are led by our community members here, and we really feel, we trust in the Middletown voters. They came out in huge percentages. It was great to see, and it was close, but it's official, and we are moving forward with these schools. And as our community members got together right afterwards, we just said to each other, we have to stay on time. We have to stay on budget. We owe it to the voters. We owe it to all residents here in Middletown. But we're lucky to have that leadership with our project management team as well to help us through that process.
So this is for, pardon me, sorry for interrupting, please.
As far as the consulting team, the architect engineering firm is all inclusive. It takes care of every element of design, outfitting, and assisting us in the process of building this building.
We've seen enormous progress in terms of new schools. None other than really the marquee of this moment would be East Providence in terms of just new school construction and the deployment of everything from inside the classroom with smart boards and so on and so forth to just a totally reimagined version of what a school campus can be. So give us a little bit of insight into just sort of the initial understanding. We're still early on, but sort of the initial projection of what this bond will pay for in very basic terms.
I actually didn't go to East Providence, Bill, but Ed will, and he can share his experience. I went to a similar one in Massachusetts, Saugus Middle High School. And I tell you, I saw students, we took students with us as well. And I kept asking them throughout the day, what do you think of this? And they're blown away by it. And we saw it in action too. These designs that you look at is one thing on paper, 21st century learning. That's what we're trying to get here. And when you see it in action, like we did at Saugus, and Ed will share with you at East Providence, it drove us even more to make this happen. So,
yeah, let's talk about that East Providence piece.
True. I think one of the things when we also talk of the 21st century, we're a quarter of the way into it already. So we're playing a little bit of catch up on our end. And I think one of the things that happened to a lot of people was they kind of had a Grand Canyon moment. You could see pictures of the Grand Canyon, but till you're standing there physically seeing it, I think it makes all the difference. And I think the other thing is what I witnessed with East Providence was the ability of a school to become a draw point instead of a place where they just go. And I think one of the things we're trying to do with our project is not only is this building going to service the school, the children, but it's going to service our whole community.
That's such a critical piece. And just speaking in terms of the school, we're seeing an enormous effort right now by Governor McKee and the Department of Education to increase attendance. And certainly there are districts that really struggle with that. One piece, and look, East Providence is not immune to this in spite of a new school building, but it certainly helps to be a magnetic location for students when you have a 21st century learning environment that caters to what they need in this moment. It only can help the community as a whole.
My experience at East Providence, I was there in the evening, and you would have thought it was daytime because there was 2 athletic events going on. They're going to soon have their culinary arts, have an open cafe to service all these events going on. So you could see the community coming in. I think the other thing is with our career pathway programs, it'll certainly offer possibilities for evening programs, for example, for adults and everything else. So again, this building becomes a community. And also, when you think of an auditorium, we've never had a true auditorium in Middletown. And it's all part of this process of building a shared campus for a high school and a middle school allows us to have a true auditorium.
There's also the aspect of this that when this is completed, this new facility is completed, there will be, and the new facilities are completed, there'll be an opportunity for new athletic fields. There'll be an opportunity for affordable housing up on Oliphant Road. So this creates a dynamic spectrum, full spectrum, economic development, housing development, educational development. So it's like, it's a smart bond.
It is. And, you know, we have to be careful though, as the building committee. A lot of what we just talked about there is educational things. It's also, you know, home-based things too, that maybe could cause some of those absentees. But, you know, we're going to stay focused on the buildings. And one of the things that we are so excited about is being able to get, you know, the community involved with that as well, and make this a true community center. You know, that the school should be the center of your community. And I grew up in a community like that, and it was the case. You know, so it's good to see that here in Middletown, and we're really happy, and we're ready to get to work.
One common pushback on new school construction from those who are either taking it from a fiscally conservative standpoint, or in some cases from we see it here in Providence, we see historic standpoint. Hey, don't tear down the school because there's historic value there, whether it's nostalgic or actually legitimate national historic landmark type of value. But the Band-Aid approach to school buildings has been proven time and time again across the country to be more expensive than to build new schools. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so, you know, it's funny. That's exactly the process we went through here. We started as a building committee. This rendition of the building committee started in 2021, February 2021. And our first approach to this was to fix it, is to fix what we had. And we looked into it. And you know, I'll be honest, there was so much uncertainty with that, but it was our only option at the time, and that's what we went forward with. And we worked with the town, and we lowered it down to a bond amount we thought was doable. And then regionalization happened, and a lot of different things started to play out there. So, you know, we've gone through this whole process, and then we get to this point after we lost the regionalization vote in Newport. We came together as a building committee again and said, well, we can't stop like this. We know the need is still there. The need is never going away. And this is the best opportunity. And, you know, we reached enough people out there. And I think, you know, the voters spoke, and here we are, and we have to give that to them now.
The last piece I wanted to touch on here, as I alluded before we started recording, 10 minutes is it's tough because there's a lot of depth here, but you guys have done an excellent job of overviewing. It's on the energy piece. And this is obviously something that is big. And no matter where you stand on the issue, I think everybody understands that even from an economic standpoint, net zero energy ready, thinking in terms of carbon neutrality, thinking in terms of like you'd mentioned, we're already a quarter of the way through this century. That's a critical component. That's something it's part of modern architectural thought. And that's something that should and will be a part of the broad project.
Well, I think one of the reasons we selected the firm that we did was they've had experience and they've done it. It's not a question that, you know, they're just getting involved in it. So I think that's a key element there. And we are, you know, closely approaching net zero energy right now in our designs. Will we achieve it? Well, economics will decide that for us.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for us too, we looked at what the costs are to heat and electrify our buildings. And you know, the last update I got was like 800,000. I think by now everyone else's bills have gone up too. Like it's probably $1 million right now. So even to shave that off a budget, even knock 75% of that off a budget is significant.
$190 million bond passed, action in motion. Middle school is going to have a really great educational layout infrastructure wise, and really appreciate your efforts and being here this morning, Ed and Charlie. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.